because he seems more focused on defending science rather than truly engaging with the depth of Sabine Hossenfelder's argument. He appears somewhat confused. His main concern is that science needs to be protected from sounding like a pseudoscience, but in doing so, he avoided the core issues Hossenfelder raises. Instead of engaging in genuine debate, he primarily argues that scientists shouldn't talk this way. But what does this really mean? If he is a physicist, why not tackle her actual points instead of just warning against how she speaks? That's why I don't fully buy into Professor Dave's stance. Hello guys, today in this video we will find some controversy and going to understand about what is the crisis. Have you ever wondered what happens when two science communicators clash? Today we are diving into the heated debate between Professor Dave Explains and Dr. Sabine Hossenfelder, two influential voices in science. Some say Sabine Hossenfelder is revealing the flaws of modern physics, while others argue that she is misleading people about how science actually works. So who's right? What's the real issue here? Stick around as we break down every point by point. First of all, who are they? Professor Dave's real name is Dave Farina. He is a former science teacher turned science communicator. He runs the Professor Dave Explains YouTube channel, which covers physics, chemistry, and biology. He is known for his strong stance against pseudoscience and misinformation. And Dr. Sabine Hossenfelder, she is a theoretical physicist and author, and she is known for her critical views on modern theoretical physics, particularly string theory, the multiverse, and quantum mechanics interpretations. Her channel and books argue that science has become too theoretical and detached from reality. She believes that mathematical beauty is misleading physicists away from the real discoveries. So the conflict about? The disagreement between Professor Dave and Dr. Sabine Hossenfelder comes down to how science works and how it should be communicated to the public. So does science have a crisis? And Hossenfelder's views on it? She argued that physics is in a crisis because many theories like string theory and the multiverse are unverifiable and detached from experiments. She claims that scientists are wasting time on theories that cannot be tested, which could slow down real progress in physics. And Professor Dave's response? He disagrees with calling it a crisis. He believes science is always self-correcting. He says that just because a theory isn't immediate testable doesn't mean it's wrong or useless. He argues that physics often explores theoretical possibilities before experimental catch-up. Example, Einstein's relativity was once just a theory. Hossenfelder approach. She criticized scientific institutions for being driven by politics, fund-driven biases, and academic pressure. She suggests that many physicists follow trends without questioning them. She emphasizes the failure of science more than its successes. And Professor Dave's response? He argues that Hossenfelder's content could unintentionally fuel anti-science sentiments. By constantly pointing out flaws and saying that physics is lost, she might discourage people from trusting science. He believes that highlighting the uncertainties of science without context can mislead viewers into science is broken. Peer review and scientific integrity. Hossenfelder's criticism of peer reviews. She argues that peer review is biased, as researchers often favor popular theories over new ideas. She believes that many groundbreaking ideas get ignored because they don't fit the mainstream narrative. And his response? He argues that the peer review system is not perfect, but it is the best system. We have to filter out bad science. He argues that good ideas do get recognized eventually, even if it take times. He warns that questioning the entire system could make it easier for pseudoscience to spread. So is Sabine's approach harmful? Professor Dave claims that Hossenfelder's pessimistic tone might discourage people from pursuing science. He believes she overstates problems without acknowledging the progress happening in physics. He argues that science is not in a crisis, it's just evolving as it always has. So why does it matter? This debate is not just about physics, it's about how we communicate science to the public. Should we focus on criticizing science's flaw or celebrating its progress? Should we be skeptical of new theories or embrace uncertainties as part of the discovery? These are the important questions that shape how people perceive science. So who's right? Hossenfelder is right that physics should stay grounded in experiments. Dave is right that science is not failing, it's just advancing slowly. I am not Professor Dave's side. because he seems more focused on defending science rather than truly engaging with the depth of Sabine Hossenfelder's argument. He appears somewhat confused. His main concern is that science needs to be protected from sounding like a pseudoscience, but in doing so, he avoided the core issues Hossenfelder raises. Instead of engaging in genuine debate, he primarily argues that scientists shouldn't talk this way. But what does this really mean? If he is a physicist, why not tackle her actual points instead of just warning against how she speaks? That's why I don't fully buy into Professor Dave's stance. But from my long-term perspective, you should not choosing sides. We should focus on understanding nuances of science and how it develops over time. What do you think? Is physics in crisis or just evolving as always? Let me know in the comment below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit like, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss future deep dives into science controversies.